our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about President Sisi, who affirmed Egypt's commitment to the continent's peace on Africa Day. Yesterday, on his Twitter account, President Sisi said that on the 25th of May each year, we celebrate Africa Day, Day of Unity and Solidarity, symbolizing the aspirations of the African nations for a bright future and sustainable development. Egypt, which is deeply rooted in the African history, reaffirms its unwavering commitment to foster constructive cooperation, strengthen development efforts, and promote peace across the entire continent. Together, we shall build a brighter and more prosperous tomorrow for the people of Africa. May Africa stand strong, united, and steadfast in its pursuit of this supposed progress. And to shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, our political analyst. Dr. Ezaby, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Sir, on his Twitter account yesterday, President Sisi talked about Africa Day. What message was the President trying to send with his Africa Day statement?
Well, President Sisi's Africa Day statement likely emphasized unity, historical ties, and Egypt's commitment to the continent's peace, development, and integration. The message aimed to reinforce Egypt's image as a proactive African partner, advocate for shared prosperity, and promote Pan-African solidarity.
Sir, how has Egypt historically contributed to peace and development in the African continent?
Well, Egypt has long supported liberation movements during the decolonization era and has mediated in African conflicts such as in Sudan and South Sudan. It has contributed troops to African peacekeeping missions and hosted numerous African students through educational scholarship and programs.
Yes. Dr. Ezaby, what role does Egypt play in the African Union and regional security frameworks as well?
Well, Egypt is a founding member of the African Union and chaired it in the 2019. It participates in African Union peace and security bodies and supports terrorism through institutions like the Cairo International Center for Conflict Resolution, peacekeeping, and peace building. Egypt also promotes initiative on climate adaptation and post-conflict reconstructions.
Sir, how is Egypt actually contributing in infrastructure, education, or health projects in the African nations?
Well, Egypt provides technical assistance, builds medical clinics and schools, and shares experts in irrigation and electricity projects. Egyptian firms are active in construction and telecom sectors across East and West Africa. Scholarships for African students and training programs through institutions like the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development are key tools.
Indeed. How does Egypt benefit economically or politically from the deeper African cooperation, sir?
We can say that stronger African ties open markets for Egyptian exports, particularly in construction materials, food products, and pharmaceuticals. Politically, Africa provides a platform for Egypt to increase its diplomatic influence, gain support in international forums, and counterbalance Nile basin tensions, especially with Ethiopia.
Mm. Yeah. What challenges does Egypt face in promoting peace in conflict zones like in Sudan, in Libya, and in Sahel?
Well, we can say that Egypt faces obstacles include competing regional interests, fragile ceasefires, porous borders, and spillover risks like refugee flow and terrorism in Libya, balancing between factions while maintaining national interest in delicate Sudan's instability also directly affects Egypt's national security and Nile water concern.
Dr. Ezaby, how does Egypt's involvement in the African peacekeeping compare to other regional powers?
Well, while not the top troops contributors, Egypt plays a significant role through diplomatic mediation and capacity building. Countries like Ethiopia and Rwanda may contribute more troops, but Egypt often focuses on training, logistics, and political solutions, leveraging its strategic positions and historical soft power.
Indeed, Dr. Mohamed Ezaby, our political analyst, thank you so much for your precious input. Always a pleasure to have you with us, sir. And moving on to the African trade, where imagine a single market connecting 1.4 billion people across 54 countries. This is not a distant dream, actually. It is the vision behind the African Continental Free Trade Area, or the AFCFTA. Launched officially in 2021, it is the largest free trade agreement in the world by number of countries involved. Its goal is simple but actually ambitious: remove tariffs on 90% of goods, boost intra-African trade, and create a continent-wide economic powerhouse.
The African Continental Free Trade Area was launched officially in 2021, and it's the largest free trade agreement in the world by number of countries involved. Its goal is simple but ambitious: remove tariffs on 90% of goods, boost intra-African trade, and create a continent-wide economic powerhouse. For decades, African countries traded more with Europe, China, or the US than with each other. Intra-African trade made up less than 50% of total exports, but the agreement aims to rewrite that script, empowering African businesses, cutting costs, and building resilient supply chains from Cape Town to Cairo. Still, momentum is building. Pilot shipments have moved between Ghana and Rwanda. Talks are advancing on digital trade services and e-commerce. The African private sector is watching closely, ready to expand if the rules become clear and fair. The agreement is not just a trade deal, it is a political project, a step towards African economic sovereignty and deeper integration. If successful, it could reshape the continent's economic future and redefine its place in global markets. The question now is not whether Africa can trade with the world, but whether Africa can truly trade with itself.
China is committed to expanding its investment in Africa by further promoting corporate cooperation in various fields. That is according to the Ministry of Commerce official who was briefing the media in Beijing on Wednesday on its current state of investment on the continent.
China is committed to expanding its investment in Africa by further promoting corporate cooperation in various fields. This is according to a Ministry of Commerce official who was briefing the media in Beijing on its current state of investment on the continent. Shen Chiang, director of the West Asia and Africa Department in the ministry, said that African countries have seen steady economic development in recent years, with the overall business environment continuing to improve and the willingness of Chinese firms to invest in the continent significantly growing. He said that the data reveals that over the past 5 years, annual average of direct investment from Chinese companies in Africa have consistently exceeded $3 billion, with investment projects spanning a wide range of sectors. China's focus has been primarily on the infrastructure, construction and manufacturing sectors, but he said the entities involved in China's investment in Africa have become increasingly varied. She noted that the ministry will further enhance the investment by fostering cooperation, especially among small and medium-sized enterprises. She added that the ministry will further enhance investment on the continent by fostering cooperation, especially among small and medium-sized SMEs. It will also support cooperation between young entrepreneurs from both regions.
Every year, millions of Africans move within their countries across borders or to the other continents as well. Some leave in search of work or education, while others flee conflict or climate disasters.
In 2025, Africa's migration dynamics are shifting rapidly, driven by war, climate, economic instability, and global policy changes. Nowhere is the crisis more visible than in Sudan. Civil war has displaced over 12 million people, with neighboring countries like Chad and South Sudan struggling to respond. Camps are overflowing, resources are scarce. The world is watching, but slowly. In North Africa, Libya remains a critical corridor for migration, hoping to reach Europe, but the journey is deadly. In April, 7 Sudanese migrants died of starvation in the Libyan desert, one of many grim reminders of the risk migrations face daily. Europe, meanwhile, is tightening its policies. A new EU proposal would allow deportation of asylum seekers to see third country, even those with no prior ties. Human rights groups warn this could erode protections for the most vulnerable. Yet migration isn't just about escape, it's also about opportunity. Kenya, for instance, is launching a bold plan to send 1 million workers abroad in 2025, tapping into labor shortages in countries like Germany and Denmark. Officials hope this will ease unemployment and boost remittances, but risks around worker protection remain. And then there is the climate crisis along Senegal's coast. Overfishing, often by foreign fleets, is leaving local fishermen with empty nets. Many now risk everything, crossing the Atlantic, heading for the Canary Islands in search for work.
Well, our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. I'm Ezaby. Many thanks for watching.